So I'm starting a new series where I try to break down boulder problems and explain micro techniques that you can use to solve your own problems. Ideally, you'll learn some new concepts or learn concepts that you've already been using but you weren't sure why they were working. Hopefully you'll come away more informed or at least entertained. I've got a lot of ideas on more content similar to this, so I hope you'll subscribe. And if anything helped you out, make sure you let me know in the comments or smash that like button and enjoy. Okay, let's start with this green one. And I promise the video quality will get better. It's just that the lighting in the cave is really dark and I'm not that great a videographer. Anyway, right off the bat, the climb is a very thuggy, gorilla-like problem. It's a kind of an anti-gravity problem. And you're using all 4 of your limbs to keep your body tight to the wall. Eventually, you will come to a set of underclings. And you'll set your feet, stab your foot out right, match it, and then use both your feet and your arms to toss up and drive your hips up to get established on the head wall, which is a series of side pulley Gaston moves where you're trying to keep your body in a plumb line but still pulling on through, and then setting your feet for the final top. I wonder if your opinion on the difficulty of the climb would change before and after the breakdown, so leave in the comments your guesses on the grade of the climb, and let's begin. The first substantial move is a right heel hook that will bring your body up so you can toss to the next hold. If you're just starting heel hooking, you'll learn that you're going to need to pull a lot harder than it looks to make your heel hook effective. Watching other climbers heel hook, it's not easy to tell how hard they're pulling with their heel since there's no indication like bulging biceps or anything. I refer to intentionally pulling up your center of gravity and your hips up with your heel as actively heel hooking. A good feedback response to sense for if you're just starting learning this is that your hamstrings and your calves may be on the verge of cramping. A common heel hooking mistake is to pull with the heel just enough to keep your body stable, and I call this passively heel hooking. If you're relying on the heel hook to make a move, you need to pull with that heel such that you're overcoming the resistance of gravity. You can see a huge distance between my hand, my center of gravity, and my knee between active and passively pulling. Treat a heel hook as if it's another limb, so imagine doing a pull-up, you'd obviously pull with both your limbs. But not actively heel hooking is like doing a pull-up with only one hand and your other hand is just ornamentally hanging there. Actively heel hooking puts a lot of stress on your knees, so make sure you do a proper warm-up. And I'll include a clip of a previous vlog actually, of the warm-up I do to prevent injury. Previously on this channel. The next section involves a series of bumping your hands sequentially up to the next hold. When bumping, you want to move as fast as possible while remaining in control, but your body should be tense before the movement and after the movement, so think about it like you're running an electric pulse through your body. And it helps to keep your eye on the target hold at all times. A funny way of looking at it I heard from Sophia Yokoyama is you want to move your body between the holds faster than your body can fall. The next part of the climb is another heel hook, and the more astute viewers will notice that for all the heel hooks, the contact point has always been the outside edge of the heel. When you use the outside edge of your heel as the contact point, it helps point your knees outwards, which helps in turn open up your hips. And in any situation, regardless of angle, the more open your hips are, the closer to the wall you can be. And in an overhanging situation, the closer your hips and your body is to the wall, the less you would have to reach and pull to get to the next hold. After we hit up these 2 underclings up here, we come to a remix of a previous idea, which is to actively pull. But this time instead of a heel, it's the toe. There's about a 50-50 level of effort between the pulling hand and the right toe driving the glute upwards. So some key takeaways for this climb are to actively pull with your feet, pulse your body when you bump, and position your heel hooks so that you can open up your hips. Yeah, so leave in the comments what you think the grade is now, or if it's changed at all, and I'll reveal the grade at the end of this video. This next climb starts with some stemming action, so you don't want to neglect those pushing muscles when you're training for climbing. Coming up to a sloper, standing up and then hitting a crimp, setting up your feet for a cross over move into a pinch, resetting your feet, resetting your hands, a big dynamic move up to another pinch, cross body tension to reset your hand grip, and then a bump to another pinch, and then some more cross body tension for the final finish. It could be pretty useful to film yourself when you're working a project to see what you're doing compared to what you think you're doing. Right here, you're pretty crammed into the wall, and I could have sworn that I looked like this, but you know, obviously I was nowhere close to that.
Wow, your shoulders are very immobile.
Yeah. Why don't you do it? Oh, okay, fine.
You're like, right now, you're like this.
The meat of the climb is right here where you set up your body positioning to reach your arm across the wall and across your body. There are three components to look out for in a situation like this. One is your points of contact, next is your center of gravity, and third your pivoting point, which in physics is called your fulcrum. Whenever you wish to bring your center of gravity from one side of the fulcrum to the other, you need to generate a sort of lateral force. In this situation, the lateral force is your core power twisting against the points of contact and the fulcrum. Another way of crossing the fulcrum is to front load the lateral force required by throwing your body dynamically. A successful dynamic move has a strong beginning, middle, and end, just like a good movie. And this is also why dynamic moves are so fun to watch.
Every great magic trick consists of 3 acts.
The first part of the dynamic move is to establish yourself on the climb. Next, you cast your body into the movement, and the success of the move is ambiguous unless you see your body through the entirety of the movement and stay committed to the story that your body takes. And finally, in the epilogue, you re-establish yourself and come to a satisfying resolution. If any piece of the story is lacking, then the chances of success are slim. It's not just about the strong start and the strong end. You also have to focus on the story arc through the middle that your body will go through. Moving dynamically taps into a lot more motor functions than static climbing. Starting off, the chances of success are low percentage, but it's a practice skill, so just keep at it and eventually it'll go. The last part of this climb involves a lot of cross-body tension. Whenever you're climbing, try to imagine the shape that is formed from all your points of contact. In this situation, it's a triangle. When seeking stability, your center of gravity will generally try to remain within that shape. But here, if you let go of your left hand, the shape of your contact points becomes a line, and your center of gravity will fall into that line, creating the dreaded barn door effect. No. So to free up that left hand, you would try to create a new shape with new points of contact that doesn't involve that left hand. Enter the left foot. Putting tension through the left foot now creates a new shape that relieves the left hand from needing to contribute to your stability. Now this allows for the hand switch with more ease. Here, a quick pulse with the body to bump the next hand up. And same thing here, I want to free up my left hand to match the finishing hold. And in order to do that, I need to create a new contact shape that doesn't rely on my left hand as part of that shape. So some takeaways for this climb is that when you're trying to cross the fulcrum, look for a lateral force to propel you. When moving dynamically, think about the beginning, the middle, and the end of the movement. And when you're looking for stability, think about the shape that your points of contact makes and keep your center of gravity within it. Yeah, so I hope that was helpful or interesting. And without further ado, here are the grades of the climbs. Okay, the first climb, the green one, was a V6. And let me know in the comments if you think the grade is easy or hard. My guess is that people who are strength-minded climbers will find it easier than it looks. And this black one is a V7. Of the few V7s I've climbed, I would say this one is kind of down the middle. My guess is that the votes will go either or depending on if people have been familiar with these types of moves or not. So making this video as an amateur took a lot more effort than I expected.
My sweet voice recording studio.
But I have a lot more climbs and a lot more micro techniques that I would love to talk about. So I hope I helped you, and I hope you'll subscribe and leave a comment if anything in particular you want to hear more about, and drop a like, and I shall see you in the next one.